Hello YouTubers, this is Akeem again with another video about the Camry turbo project that I'm doing. Got a little good news, got a little not so good news. Good news is, you see this turbo manifold is nice and ceramic coated inside and out. It's a thing of beauty, really. I love it. I'm excited about it. Bad news, I suck at welding. The worst welds possible. But the bright side is everything was sandblasted and it helped get the extra slag off. So some holes were revealed and I get to go and cover them up. Now mind you, I've only been welding for 2 whole months out of my life. I learned to weld this year, self-taught stick welding. Not really self-taught, I went to YouTube, I went to different pages, I read all advice on which is the best way to stick weld exhaust piping. The reason why I went stick welding is because you can do it outdoors. I don't have any indoor space to do any welding. Plus, it is the least expensive way to weld, but it does yield results. So we're going to continue to practice and get better at welding, and we're going to touch up some of this pipe here. There's some cracked welds, some not so put together piping. We're going to switch it. I was using 60-13 welding rods. I'm going to switch to 60-11 because it has deeper penetration. So hopefully we'll get a much better weld. Okay. After that, we'll put together the turbo, the manifold, and a few lines onto the block. Hopefully we'll get to upgrade the injectors today and go from there. Alright, so we did some welding, we did some grinding, filled in as many spots we could. Hopefully we get it right this time. So when it gets sandblasted again, there'll be no hose exposed. Not sure if you noticed, but I started with 60-11 and let me tell you, that rod is messy. So I went right back to 60-13. There's less splatter with 60-13. And you can really crank up the amps. So I cranked up the amp to 70 on the welding machine to get a good weld. And you can take your time with the 60-13. 60-11, you have to move fast or you're going to burn your metal, especially with metal that is this thin. Alright, so we're going to test fit it, and then we're going to move on to the motor. We're going to mount the turbo to the manifold, start bolting some stuff there and see how it looks. Probably beforehand, clean up a few spots on the motor where there was some leftover sludge that I missed. Now that I have an electric pressure washer, I can really hit those spots. Okay, so now we have the turbo set up onto the engine, plus the turbo manifold, the wastegate. So I'm gonna go ahead and mock fit the downpipe, make sure that the surface is still flat. Hopefully it is, so I don't have to get it milled again. And then after that, see if we have time to attach the oil feed and to change out the injectors. Okay, so we fast forwarded. We've got the downpipe connected just to mock it up, see how it looks. We got the wastegate connected, the dump tube from the wastegate to the downpipe connected. And now we're going to install the turbo oil feed lines and the turbo drain line. Seems to me I need another connector here. Alright, so we got one small hiccup. The way this is connected, we're going to need another one of these NPT fittings to fit it right. So, totally unprepared. So I'm just going to connect it here for now. So the line, slightly turn it without kinking it too much, and we'll make a connection there. Alright, we got the oil drain, oil feed in. What we're most likely going to do is get a much shorter oil feed than that. We want that short as possible out of the way. Alright, got the downpipe aside for now. We're going to send that back off to get ceramic coated, hopefully. Second time's a charm. And there won't be any more holes on my wells. Okay, so now we're going to get started changing the injectors. We had 315 cc's, but now I want to move it to 440s so I can use E85. Alright, we had to fast forward time a little bit, but I got the 440cc injectors installed. Just a helpful tip, it'll be much easier to install your fuel injectors and fuel rail if you take off the intake manifold, but I was just being a bit lazy. But I got it in there and got it to fit, so that's great. Cleaned out the EGR tube, had a bit of carbon deposits on there, and that's going to be it for today. Once I come back, next video, I'll have the downpipe ceramic coated, fingers crossed, and we'll go from there. Probably start pulling out the motor and stuff like that. Also, this harness has two trouble codes on it that we'll have to diagnose. I'm sure it's a wiring issue because the part that was triggering the code has been replaced. So we're going to take a test toner and test that out and go from there. But we are done for today. It is time to move forward. And if you like what you saw, like and subscribe. If you don't, all good. Thumbs up. Appreciate it.